Hello, everyone, and welcome to this year's Global Virtual Open Day. I'm Elena Ruggiero. I'm one of the recruiter managers in Paris, and I'm also with my colleague Sarah Sen. Hello, Sarah.
Hi, Elena. Hi, everyone.
So I will start by explaining a little bit how to use the platform, and there will be a little introduction video by Professor Grana, and then I will introduce you by the program, the bachelor program, and then it will be Sarah's turn to introduce you the admissions. Let me just share my screen. So first, let me remind you the today's agenda. So right now, there's the welcome space. Then in 10 minutes, there will be the little video introduction by Professor Fabrizio Grana. Then I will introduce the program. So discover the ACP Bachelor in Management, your passport to a global business career. Then it will be my colleague Sarah, who will present how to apply admissions and interview tips. Then you can connect to another booth at 2:15 to see a conference about student life. And then at 3:15, there will be the post-graduation options conference. So how are you going to use the Meet Your School platform? So it is always better to connect from a computer rather than a phone if you can, because not all the functionalities are available on phones, unfortunately. Then you can join the conferences from the conference booth or the pop-up message. Then you can chat. You can also chat with us advisors or students by message or conference call. And then you can, of course, you have to allow access to your camera and microphone if you booked a one-to-one meeting. So when you connect to the platform, as I'm sure you did, you are in the lobby. So here is the starting point. You can visit the different booths. So it's right under the main tab. So you have the program overview booth, this one. You have the application process booth, the career and master's program booth, the student life booth, and then the last booth, it's about international summer schools. You can also chat with the advisor. So once you click on the booth, right under, as you can see, you have here the chat space. You can also access to conferences, of course, it's right under. Then you can, of course, access to the video interviews if you booked a one-to-one meeting with the advisors or students. It's right here. And then at the bottom of the page, you have access to different documents and materials. So videos, the brochure, and the website, the school website. Now, let me just go back and share the welcome message from Professor Grana.
Dear students, welcome to this video on the introduction to the Bachelor in Management program. I am Fabrizio Grana, I'm the Associate Dean of the Bachelor, and today I will give you some instruction about the main components of the program, the main learning model that you will follow throughout the program, and also which campuses you will visit throughout the 3 years. So before starting throughout the blended learning model, I would like you to know what are the key insights coming from our program. First of all, we give students the possibility to move from one campus to another throughout the 3 years. So the program is a 3 years, 3 countries program, and we expect students to move from one campus to another. All courses are taught in English, apart from some classes in B2 and B3 that might be taught in French or Spanish. And that's why we ask students to learn the specific language of the campus where they will go in B2 and B3. And then what is most important is that our program reached now a total number of students of 3,000 students with the first intake of 1,100. So students coming in B1 are now higher than 1,000 students. We are very proud of it because this certifies the improvement of our program, the importance of our program worldwide, which has been accredited by some of the most important accreditation institutions. And we are ranked as first in France, according to L'Étudiant, Le Figaro Challenge ranking. What else? Our program is unique, and our program is unique not only for the exchange students they have across campuses, but also for the learning model we offer. We call it a blended learning model. We got the experience of merging asynchronous and synchronous learning approach. Indeed, there is a before class process and an after class process, or during class process. The before class process requires students to learn on their own about a certain theoretical subject or theoretical concept that will be explored more in depth when they will meet the professors with a Q&A session, or where they will practice during the seminar in class. And the practice generally take place with their peer. They work interactively through hands-on sessions where they have to apply concept, the theoretical concept studied at home, through seminars, through simulation, through case study discussion. What kind of subject here you will work through the curriculum? The curriculum counts of a total of 180 ECTS. This is distributed between 60 ECTS per year. Each year, year 1, year 2, and year 3, students will go through subjects such as management, economics, accounting, law, or liberal arts and humanities modules such as presentation and discussion rhetoric skills, or psychology and sociology, or wealth of nations, negotiation. All these subjects will support students and give students the right skills to become leader in the future, not only management leader, but also leader of any public or private institution they want to work for. And of course, we take care about their personal skills and the capacity to interact with multinational groups. Therefore, we have courses such as intercultural skills and languages. So we expect students to be fluent in the language of the campus they will visit throughout 3 years. So we offer them the possibility to learn from 2 to 3 languages every year. The requirement for the language is very important, especially for English. We expect to see at least a C1 level of English. But when moving from one year to another, we expect students to increase their level of French or Spanish, especially for campuses such as Madrid and Paris, where some courses are taught in French and Spanish. What are the campuses you will have the opportunity to visit? Of course, you cannot go through all the 5 campuses of our school, but you have the possibility to get registered in London, Paris, and Turin the first year, then move to Madrid, Paris, and again Turin in the second year. And then for the year 3, we have students have the possibility to choose among one of the campuses they could not visit in year 1 and year 2. Just make an example. If in year 1 you're registered in Turin and then you move to Paris, or you move to Madrid, then you can choose between Berlin, London, and Madrid. If you in year 2 you are in Paris, so you cannot move everywhere a la carte. But in year 3 you are obliged to select a campus that you didn't visit, the students didn't visit year 1 or year 2. Sorry. What is the structure of the B3? Well, B1 and B2 have the same courses across campuses, same structure, same syllabus, same exam, and the exam take place on the same date and same time across campuses for all our students. So this requires a very important coordination and organization. The year 3 allows students to improve their knowledge about specific subjects. And that's why, starting from 25-26, we introduce the concept of majors and electives. So B3 consists generally of 5 mandatory courses. They are the same across campuses, 6 management electives, and 2 liberal arts electives. The students have also the possibility to learn language of the campus where they are based in. And of course, they conclude the curriculum with the preparation and upload of the thesis. The 6 management electives I was referring about are generally classified across campus according to 2 main curricula. There is a general management curricula and a major curricula. The general management is generally distributed across multiple campuses. We have the general management in Berlin, in London, in Turin, and also in Paris. We have to distinguish between the way in which electives are selected. London and Paris, the electives are selected a la carte, so students can choose among the 6 management electives the one they prefer to attend. In Berlin and Turin, instead, the electives are clustered in groups that might change from one semester to another. Paris has a specific structure that is called work and study. So in this specific case, students need to be very much fluent in French with a B2 or C1 level of French. And they will have the possibility to not only attend classes during the year, but also work as apprentice or intern within French companies. So the limited, in this case, the amount of students that have the possibility to get registered for the Paris campus in 3 years is very limited, and we expect them an high GPA and percentile. For what concern the major instead, major are specific specific curriculum where students will be specialized on a specific subject. The campus that offer a major are London, Madrid, and Turin. London offer a major in trading and investment. Madrid offer a major in entrepreneurship and digital marketing, and Turin offer 3 major in corporate finance and investment banking, luxury strategy and leadership, and consulting and digital business strategy. What is the difference between a major and general management? Is the major is focused on a specific topic, so all the 6 management electives cannot be chosen a la carte by students. They are structured according to the subject the major refers to, and allow students to get more specialized on that specific subject. So what do we expect students will learn? What are the expectations that we have from students, and how is this related to our mission? First of all, we expect students to discover foundational business principles and multicultural aspects that will have an effect on their day-by-day life as managers. We expect them to become not only international, but also multicultural leaders. And that's why we want them to embrace a liberal arts perspective, where the correlation between multiple interdisciplinary approach is fundamental. And then, of course, we want them to cultivate essential qualities for top executives managers within organization. That's why we expect them to get some ethical thinking, adaptability, but also learn from the digital transformation we are experiencing within organization, and that we expect students to lead and managers as future leaders. I thank you for your attention, and I wish you all the best for the year to come, and I hope to meet you soon within our premises. Thank you.
So now I will just switch to the presentation of the program. Please know that this conference is recorded. So if you want to review some parts, or maybe you connect it later, you can always do that once the replay is available. And if you have any questions, please drop them down in the Q&A section, so we can reply to them just later. So here we go. So first of all, let me introduce you a little bit ESCP, if some of you don't know the school already. So we are the very first business school that was created in the world. We have 6 campuses in 6 European cities. We are in Berlin, London, Madrid, Paris, Turin, and Warsaw. We are currently ranked 4th among European business schools in Europe, of course. We benefit from multi-accreditation. This is very important when you look to continue on a master's program, for example. And we offer programs from the bachelor to a master's degree, Master of Science, MBAs, and executive education. And our student and professor body is very multicultural. So first of all, before I start presenting the program, let's learn a little bit what is the difference between BSc, BBA, MBA, some acronyms that you might have heard a lot. So BSc means Bachelor of Science. BBA, it's Bachelor in Business Administration. MBA, it's Bachelor of Arts. So in detail, Bachelor of Arts, it's an undergraduate degree you can access after your high school diploma, and it is based on the British model. So it is usually in 3 years, and you will be learning a lot of subjects. As you can see here, for example, communication, languages, history, it's like a wide variety of subjects. And after that, you could work in many fields, including management. The BBA, the Bachelor in Business Administration, it's also an undergraduate degree that you can access to after high school. It is this one based on the American model, and it's usually in 4 years. And you will be learning basically management subjects in a general way, in theory. And after that, what you can do is to work in business administration's area, and finance is not always possible, as we can see in a second. When you study in a BBA, there are less quantitative subjects. So the BSc, the Bachelor of Science, it's again an undergraduate degree that you can access to after high school. It is based on the British model, and it's in 3 years, and you will be studying management and or science subjects. So here, the difference between the BBA and the BSc is that in the BSc, there's a focus on quantitative subjects. So you will have classes in maths, statistics, accounting, finance, etc. And that's why this is a program that allows you to access to many fields in the business and management area, including finance. So our bachelor, it is a Bachelor of Science. Professor Grana already introduced you the main features of the program. So let me just skip this part. Regarding the track, so you could start in London, Paris, or Turin. Here, again, no language requirements apart from English. Then the second year, the availabilities are Madrid, Paris, or Turin. Here, as Professor Granà said, you need to have a B1 level in Spanish if you want to go to Madrid, and a B1 level in Paris if you want to go to, in French if you want to go to Paris. And then for the rest, everything is taught in English. The third year, as per the language requirements, apart from English, you need to have a B2 level in Spanish if you want to go to Madrid, and a C1 level in French if you want to go to Paris. So our student body is very diversified. So we have students coming from all over the globe, representing more than 70 nationalities. As you can see, in the countries in blue are the countries where our students come from. So, of course, the majority of our students come from Europe, but as you can see, we recruit all over the globe. To be precise, 30% of our students are French, and the rest, 70%, are international. So when you join a business school, you also join a wide network of students, but also former students. As a matter of fact, you can, once you subscribe, once you enroll to the school, you also join the alumni society. So it is made up of more than 85,000 alumni all over the globe, and the association organizes a lot of networking events, which we strongly advise you to take part in. So it is really important once you join a business school to increase your network. How do you do that? By participating in networking events, by engaging in student societies and sports club, for example. We have a lot of them, more or less engaged. So what to do after the bachelor? You can decide either to start your professional career or to join a master's program. You will see that in details in the dedicated conference. But here to give you just a few figures. So last year, 48% of our students decided to start their own professional career in many fields. It can be an internship, it can be a contract, or it can be entrepreneurship. And among those, 98% received an employment offer 3 months after graduation. So here you find a list, non-exhaustive list of companies that hired our students, is to show you the diversity of fields they can access to. You can have them here. It could be banking, can be real estate, finance, consulting. It can be investment and trading. It can be luxury, fashion. It can be hospitality, etc. And as per the company departments, they can work in marketing, they can work in sales, in finance, etc. So the other half of our students, more or less, decided to join a master's degree either at ESCP. So it was the Master of Science that we offer at ESCP, for example, the Master in Finance that is ranked first worldwide, or master's degree in universities and business schools, prestigious universities and business schools all over the globe. Here you have some examples. So they went to mostly in the European countries, as you can see, but they can also join a university outside Europe. So in France, for example, they joined HEC, ESSEC, Sciences Po, for example, in Italy, Bocconi, in the UK, LSE, King's College, London Business School, and many, many more. In the US, they also joined universities, and in Canada as well. So regarding the intake fees, so the base is 18,700 euros for European students and 24,000 1,900 euros for non-European students. To that, you have to add 1,600 euros that are divided into the 3 years. So, for example, 400 in the first year, 500 in the second year, and 600 in the last year. This refers to the lifelong membership to the Alumni Association, what I was talking about earlier. If you go on the website anyways, you can find all the details and the breakdown of the fees. We also offer scholarships. So if you want to request a scholarship, you have to be admitted. And then you just have to send an email to our scholarships department. They will send you the list of documents to provide. And if granted, they can cover from 10% up to 50% of the tuition fees. So here you have our contact details, and I'll leave the floor to my colleague, Sarah, for the admissions part.
Thank you, Elena. Hi, everyone. So now we are going to give you some tips on admission. So I'm sharing my screen. Should be able to see it in a moment. Okay, so in this section, we are going to cover what the application will look like, the online application. So I'll take you step by step through the application portal. Then we will cover a bit on personal statement, because we know that this is a question that a lot of you have. And yeah, we'll try to do our best to give you some tips on how to write the personal statement for ESCP. As you know, if you pass the first stage of the application, then you will be invited to an interview. So we'll give you some tips as well on how to prepare for the interview. And then I'll share your ESCP contact and show you how to find the right contact person for you, or contact campus for you. Okay, so the application portal can be found on our website. If you go on the ESCP website bachelor page, you will see on the right-hand side, you have the apply button, which will take you directly to our application portal. The first thing that you will see is this section. So if you have already created an account, you'll be able to log in with your username or password. If it's the first time that you connect, then you will have to register first. So these are some details here that we'll ask you to complete to make the registration. Once you validate, you will be taken to the dashboard again, where you will be, after logging in, you will be taken to this dashboard. And to complete your application for the bachelor, you only have to click on the admissions button here. You will see a drop-down menu here. The first one is the bachelor, and there is a list of other programs, but yeah, you click on this one. And after that, you will be taken to this welcome page. So we highly recommend you to download the application guide that you see there on the platform, because, you know, it will give you some information on what to do in every step of the application. We know that sometimes some things might not be as clear. And although you have, you know, your contact campuses, your recruitment team, and so on to help you, the information can also be found in the guide. First thing to do is to, let us know if you agree with our terms and conditions. You can download the full document there and read it before you confirm, of course. Once you have allowed ESCP, and accepted the T's and C's and allowed ESCP to use your personal data for communications and also to give you updates on your application, then you can confirm. And you will be taken here to this very first step of the application, which is the personal data. So here, first thing is to upload a picture of you. You have the right dimensions and the right formatting of the picture here in this first link that you can see on the screen. And then, yes, just your title, first name, last name, and other personal data that you have to complete. On each step of the application, you will have to validate. You can come back to it and click on modify if there's anything you need to change. So don't worry about that. And then once you have validated, you go to next here, which will take you to the next section of the application. First thing that you will be asked to complete after your personal data is about your high school. So we'll ask you about your high school system, such as if you're doing the French bac, for example, German Abitur, A-levels in the British system, US high school, etc. You will find a list there. The country where you are studying at the moment, the start date and end date of your high school. Approximately, it can be different in different systems, but just giving us start date and end date of your high school. And what's very important as well is the year on which you will get your high school diploma. So for instance, if you're looking at applying for September 2025, I think most of you will get your high school diploma in the summer of 2025. So this is what you have to put in here, 2025. Again, you validate and then you go to the next step. A bit more information about your high school diploma. Yeah, the name of the school, the city, etc. If it's in the level of the study, if it's French or non-French, etc. Okay, after that, we will need to have your English level. So you ideally have to submit your English test within your application, which will speed up all the process for you. But there is also a possibility to submit the test a bit later on if you're still taking the test at some point in the year. So you see here the different tests that we accept. We do not take Duolingo or other type of tests. It's really the ones that you see on the screen. And one important thing to know is that you might be exempted of submit that test. And the conditions is that you have to either have studied in an English speaking system, an international school like the IB, A-levels, high school, etc. For the last 3 years of high school, or having lived in an English-speaking country. So it must be an official language. English must be the official language of the country where you live to get that exemption. And again, for the last 3 years of high school. Other language requirements. This is mainly if you're interested in studying at our Paris or Madrid campuses in the second year, you need to have a proof of B1 level. So ideally having a certificate that proves it, like the DELF, DELE, CLE, or if you have, you can prove that you have studied French or Spanish in high school and it shows in your transcripts, and we can also have a letter of your professor certifying that you do have that level. That can also be accepted. Here we will ask you to submit your campus choices. So where you want to study in years 1 and 2, we will ask you to submit at least 3 different choices in order of preference. And as you can see here, the different campuses are available for years 1 and 2 are London, Paris, or Turin, year 1, or taught in English, so you don't need to have an extra language. And second year, Madrid, Paris, or Turin. And again, for Madrid and Paris, be aware that you will need to prove, a B1 level of French or Spanish. And if you don't, then you can pick our campus of Turin, where all classes are taught in English. Berlin is an option in the third year. This is something that students would choose later on when they're already on the program in the first year. So don't panic if you don't see Berlin as a choice. It's normal. This will come later on during your time on the program. Sorry. So a CV. In the application, we'll ask you for a CV. You have a template that you can download. You can also ask your team. Sorry, I apologize. So you have, again, a CV template. I need a second. I'm sorry, I have a bit of a cold, but I think I'm fine now. So, yeah, so you can download the CV template here on the platform. You can see here the example, what the CV looks like. You don't have to use this template. It's really, you know, it's for your, to help you with the structure. But if you have your own CV, we do recommend that you try to use the same sections, but you can structure it as you want, or you can have another design of CV. That's completely fine. So here comes the part where you upload all the supporting documents. So I will list the documents in a second. All the ones with a red asterisk are the mandatory documents that you have to submit. If your transcripts for grades 10, 11, or so on are in the same document, you can upload the same document again, especially I think for the US high school system, sometimes you have all the grades in the same document. So just upload the same one again. And please do put them in a PDF format, because on our site, when we download the documents, they might come sometimes we cannot even access them, and sometimes the editing is off. So you don't want to risk to you know, the admissions team to think that you haven't done the work to put it nicely. So really, PDF is highly recommended. Here is the list of documents that you have to submit in your application. So the transcripts of the last 3 years of high school. For this current year, we do accept the predicted grades, as you're still doing your last year. It's normal that you don't have your transcripts yet. High school diploma when you receive it later on, but if you already have them, because maybe your school system is a bit different and you already have finished high school, maybe you took a gap year and you have your diploma, you can submit it there. A personal statement in English. SATs and ACTs are optional, especially for the ones in the US system. Or if you have it and you want to submit it because you have a good score, you're welcome to add it, but it's not compulsory. Again, the English proficiency test, as we said before, some of you might be exempted. The language, proof of language of French and Spanish, and then the CV and a piece of ID. Here you will be asked to select your session. Usually the system already allocates you to the right recruitment campus for you. But if you have a doubt, you can always ask us. It should automatically add you to the right session, so you can just accept and go next. Okay, so this is the information about the application fees. So it's just explaining how it works and how much the application fees are. It's 60 euros. Once you validate that and you accept the terms, you will be taken to the payment page. You can do the payment online. And once this is done, you will have finalize your application and we will receive it on our side. So about the personal statement. So here are some examples of introductions, but yeah, a typical structure of a letter, what we recommend is around 1,000 words and not longer than a page or a page and a half. But we can be a bit flexible on that, but you do make sure that it's not 2 pages long or more. That would be a bit too long. First is to introduce yourself. Of course, that's really important. If you can tell us about your background, about your international background, about what made you interested in business or in ESCP. Maybe telling us a little bit what you know about the school and why you're interested in applying to ESCP. It can be due to your own research, to maybe someone you know that is already studying here. Sometimes someone know an alumni from the school. So that is all great reasons. That's also something you might want to add in your personal statement. But most importantly, we want to understand why you want to apply at ESCP and specifically at the bachelor program. So do your research, make sure that you tell us your reasons and show that you know about the program. It's really going to make you stand out in the application. And then finally, a conclusion, of course. It's always important to really have a well-structured letter with a nice conclusion, which can be, you know, anything you want. Maybe reminding the admissions team of your reasons why you're interested in ESCP and why you think you could be a good candidate for this school. Okay. Finally, we have interview tips. So if you're successful in this first stage of the application, the admissions team will invite you to an interview. They are done online. So usually we got a few questions about how interviews are structured, what they look like. Yeah, so what's the aim of the interview? It is a motivation interview, so it's mainly to understand your reasons, why you're interested in the program, why you want to study at ESCP, a little bit of maybe the same things that you might have said in your personal statements. Who will be your interviewer? So they are staff or faculty members of ESCP. What they will ask you, well, again, motivation questions, why you're interested in the program, sometimes some logic and reasoning questions, just to understand a little bit of your way of thinking, to get a grasp of your personality as well, a grasp of your personality. Sometimes they can ask you to give your opinion something that's happening in the news. Don't worry, you don't have to study or you don't have to prepare specifically for it, but it's really a conversation between you and the interviewer. So it's nothing to prepare. It's mostly about getting to know you a bit better, getting to see if it will be a good fit with the program. And then how you can prepare. Again, on the content, we recommend that you read your CV again, your personal statement, just refreshing your memory of what you've put in there. But specifically, how to prepare for the interview, we have a few do's and don'ts. As we said, the interviews are online, and although it's online, we do recommend that you dress appropriately. Don't be too casual. We know sometimes we can be tempted because we're online. We don't pay too much attention to maybe the bottom part of what we are wearing because we're only seeing the upper part of the body, but you never know, maybe you have to get up for some reason at some point of your interview and you don't want to be maybe wearing shorts or something that's not appropriate. So dress the same way you would if you had to go to an in-person interview. That's my recommendation. Then a don't will be to not do a trial run, checking the links that you have received, making sure that everything, technically speaking, is working properly. We recommend putting your camera on a nice, camera angle, as if you were speaking directly to the person, sitting at a table and looking them, face to face, not having the camera too low or to, make sure that they can see your face properly and that everything is okay in that sense. And then in that regards as well, we recommend that you use a desktop or a laptop and not your phone, because phones, they can fall, they can have a different angle. You can be distracted as well if someone calls you during the interview or you get messages. So we do recommend that you put your phone away and that you are doing the interview on your laptop. And then be aware of your background. So that's a don't, not having, nowadays you can use a virtual background, so that helps a lot. If you don't have a virtual background, making sure that you are in a quiet room, that everything is tidy and, looks professional around you. Not being professional, that's another don't. Sorry, not being focused, that's another don't. And again, what I was saying before, having your phone maybe put on silence so that you are not distracted. Ask everyone around you in your house to give you this 30 minutes of quiet time so you can really concentrate. And then smile, because, if you made it to the interview stage, it's already a very good sign. So you want to, be confident and everything is going to be okay. We're sure you will do a great job in the interview. Okay, so finally, your contact campus. So this is mainly allocated based on your country of residency. Some can be very obvious, like if you are in Germany, your contact campus will be Berlin. Sometimes it might not be so obvious. So if you are not sure, what you can do is go on our website, click on the contact button and select your country of residence, and then it will give you the contact campus for you. Don't worry, that doesn't mean that you have to study at that campus. You will have, the possibility to pick your study campus separately. This is purely, the way that we manage the applications, because we have so many applications coming from everywhere in the world. It's just the way that it works at ESCP. Okay, so I think we are done here, and I think we have a lot of questions in the Q&A. Ellen has been also answering in the background.
Exactly. So we can start from the first one. I was about to reply, but I can reply in person. So you can add a recommendation letter from a professor if you want to boost your application. This is not a mandatory document because some students encounter some difficulties to obtaining a letter. That's why it is not mandatory. But of course, if you can obtain one, it's always good to add it to your application. Us to split the questions, Sarah?
Yeah, I'm checking there is some questions in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Many questions in the Q&A, so let's take a few here. I don't know if you have identified any recurring questions.
Yeah, especially regarding the language level. So, as a reminder, if you wanna go to Madrid in the second year, you need to prove that you have a B1 level in Spanish when you apply. Why at that stage? It's because if you are admitted, you will be given your first and second year campus, and that cannot be changed. So that's why we need to know about your level soon. That is the case, for example, if you have been studying Spanish as a second language for the past 3 years. So in that case, with good grades, of course. So in that case, we don't need you to take a test. Your transcripts will be the proof of your level. Same goes for French. Second, if you want to go to Paris second year.
Yeah. Someone is asking if the 3 years on the Paris campus are in English. So that's a good question. When something to clarify as well, I don't know if that's what the question is about, but although Paris is available for the 3 years, you cannot spend all the years in Paris. You have to change every year. So for Paris specifically, year 1 is in English. So if you don't speak French and you want to do 1 year in Paris, that could be a good option for you. You can start with Paris. And then year 2 will be partly in French. Year 3, it is a work and study year in a French company in Paris. So you do need to have a high level of French, but the classes will be in English. We have a question about transferring as well, which can be also very interesting. I think there is a few about that. So yes, you can transfer into the second year of ESCP's bachelor program. To be eligible for that, you have to currently be in a similar program. So we accept, of course, business program, but also finance, I think maybe economics as well. And you also have to have 60 ECTS credits, or the equivalent in your system to be eligible. So you have to finish your first year. You have to get those credits before you are, accepted into our program. So that's very important to know. And also you have to have microeconomics as part of your first year. If you don't have microeconomics, then unfortunately you cannot transfer into the second year.
I also see a lot of questions about the French system, particularly the minimum grades and specialties. So the minimum grade we recommend having is 14 out of 20, but this is just to give you an idea, because we know that not all the high schools have the same level of grading. So some high schools can be stricter than others. So that's why it is just to give you an idea. As per the specialties, we highly recommend keeping your maths until the last year. Not necessarily the specialty maths, but also the option maths complémentaires, because it is a Bachelor of Science. So as I said earlier in the presentation, there's a focus on quantitative subjects in our classes.
Yeah. And I see questions about the English level. So even if you want to go to Paris in the first year, for the whole program, most of classes are taught in English. So yes, you do need to have a good level of English. The different tests that we accept are IELTS with minimum 6.5, a TOEFL with minimum 90, and the Cambridge Assessment English 180. That is what you need for that one. But yeah, it is usually around the C1 level. So this is what you need to study on this program.
Exactly. I see another question regarding the levels of languages. So for the third year, the C1 level, as Sarah already said, is required because there's a work and study track. So you will be working with French companies, and it's important to be fluent in French. Indeed, if you don't have a C1 level in French, you cannot go to Paris in the third year, but there are other options. If you don't have the B1 level in Spanish, there are other options. You could start, for example, in Paris, then go to Turin and end in London, for example, or in Berlin. I see questions about the interview, but I think you already covered it pretty much. So yeah, the interview usually lasts 20 minutes, and it will be about your extracurriculars and your motivations to join the program. Oh, this is an interesting question from Beck. Can BFI exempt you from the language certification? If it's a BFI, an American BFI or a British BFI, yes, you can be exempted from providing us with the English test to join the program. Because if you start in London and if you need a visa, UK visa, you might still have to take a test for the visa.
I have a question about what happens after the interview, so that's a really good question. After you have done the interview, usually the results come out 2 to 3 weeks after the interview dates. And this will confirm if you have been successful or not. If you have been successful, that will be an offer letter with also the confirmation of your study campuses of years 1 and 2, and also a deadline by which you have to accept the offer. So generally speaking, that's around 2 weeks. And there is a deposit to pay of 2,500 euros. And once you have done that, you will be completely secured. You're placed on the program for the September 2025 intake, or whichever year you apply for. Yeah, so that will make sure that you are completely confirmed on the program.
I see another question regarding the IB requirements, the grades. I don't find it anymore, but basically, yeah, it's here. So we recommend having 32 as a minimum grade to have a chance to be invited to interviews, aiming 36. These excluding the extra points. It's usually written in your predicted grades.
I have a questions about APs for US high school students. So we do consider APs, but unfortunately we cannot pass the credits as in the US university system because it's a different system in Europe. But yes, we do consider them, and yeah, it's great if you have them. If you don't take APs and you're in the US high school system, don't worry, because we will look at your GPA. We do recommend that you take calculus or pre-calculus as one of your subjects, but the other subjects can be anything, you know, else. Oh, sorry about that. Some background noise.
I see questions about maths, the level of maths, especially if I don't reach the required grade in maths, will I still have an opportunity to apply and get accepted? Yes, because if you need any reinforced in maths, we offer courses in maths, catch-up courses in maths in the summer before the beginning of the school. It's free. It's offered by the school, and it's organized by one of our professors. So there are basically exercises that you have to do, and then 1 or 2 Q&A sessions with the professor. Oh, there's a question about recommendation letters. Indeed, some professors don't want to give them to students, but would like to send them directly to the school. You simply give them the admission service email address, so the admissions teams can add them to your file.
I have a question about for French students. I think that maybe there is a few of you here today. If you have to apply on Parcoursup or on the ESCP platform. So the rule basically is if you want to study in Paris year 1 as a French bac student, you have to apply on Parcoursup. If you want to apply for London or Paris in year 1, you can apply on our platform directly. You don't have to go through Parcoursup.
So I see questions about housing. If we have any in-campus housing, no, we don't. Our campuses are located in the city center, so you could literally live anywhere you wish, and reach and commute easily to the campuses. We do have partnerships with student residences that are usually located close to the campuses, and this is in all of the cities we are located in. And once you are admitted and you are enrolled, you can access the list of these student residences, but also other solutions. For example, we can provide you with trustworthy websites of real estate agencies, or we also have a Facebook group when you can look for accommodation or even roommates.
I had a question about application deadline. So I thought maybe let me show you where you can find our application calendar on the website. I'll share my screen with you. So we have a rolling application system. So how you can find out about your application, your next application deadline, or different ones we have throughout the year. You go on our website, click on the admissions tab, once you are in the admissions tab, scroll down and you will see here admissions calendar. You just have to click here again, ask for the contact. You select your country of residency. Let's say you live in Argentina, for example. That means that your application will be managed by Madrid. And the next application deadline, as you can see, is January 8th with the interviews at the end of January. If you pick another country, let's say, I don't know, Belgium, your application campus or who's gonna manage your application is the Paris campus. Next application deadline here, 14th of January, and the interviews and so on and so forth. So you should have that for each campus. Depending on your country of residence, it's going to show you exactly which campus you're allocated to and what's the application round.
I see a question about translating or not translating the transcripts. So that depends on basically your country of residence. The country of residence will determine the campus that it will handle your application. If you are in France and your transcripts are in French, it's the Paris campus that will handle your application. So you won't need to translate your transcripts. Same goes, for example, if you're in a Spanish-speaking country and it is handled by Madrid, you won't have to translate your transcripts.
And if you're not sure, you can always ask your campus. Sometimes we accept, for example, in London, if you have transcripts in French, we're okay with that. So yeah, don't worry too much, but just ask your team. I have a question that's interesting, maybe something to clarify. Someone is asking, can we apply to multiple campuses for the first year? So when you apply for the program, you apply in general for the bachelor program in management. Within the application of the bachelor program, you have to tell us which campuses you want to study at in years 1 and 2, as I showed you in the presentation. So yes, you can select multiple campuses. So let's see, your first choice is, I really want to study in Paris in the first year and in Madrid in my second year. My second option is, I really want to study in Paris in the first year and in Turin in the second year, and maybe maybe the second option would be you want to start from the London campus and then go to another campus. So you have the possibility to give us your choices, multiple choices, up to 4, I think. And but you apply for the bachelor program. Someone is asking, if you're studying in a specific country, and what is the score IELTS that you need to be able to study in London in the first year? So the scores that we shared with you before, they're the same regardless of the campus. For London, it's also 6.5, is the same IELTS score regardless of the campus you apply for or where you study. This is the minimum English level you need to be able to study on the bachelor program, because classes are taught mainly in English.
See a question about the level in Italian if we choose Turin. No, you don't need to speak Italian because everything is taught in English. Oh, there's an interesting question. What importance is given to extracurricular activities or an unconventional background in the admission process? Well, this is more and more important because it allows us to see who you are besides grades, and it allows you to differentiate yourself from somebody that has the same average than you. So it's really important. especially if your extracurriculars are in line with the program. For example, if you had to adapt to a different country, if you are used to communicating with different cultures, this is very important because it's what you're going to do during your bachelor program. And I see a question about internship. Internships have to be done at the end of the second and at the end of the third year. This is compulsory, and it's optional, but highly recommended in the first year. So at the end is the period from May to July, except, like we said, in Paris third year, where there's a work and study track. So you will be starting in September to study and working.
Someone is asking what will happen if they don't have the English certificate at the time of application. So as I said in the presentation, you still have a bit of time to submit your test. However, if you are accepted, so our offers are unconditional. But if you haven't submitted your English test, then you might receive an offer with the condition of getting that English certificate with the required scores by a certain date, and definitely before you start the program, of course. So it is possible, but that means you might receive a conditional offer in that case if you're successful with the rest of the application. So someone's asking if they apply through ESCP website, what's the final date? Our very last session will be in May. So on the 20th, around the 20th of May, is our very, very last application deadline. Someone's asking if you will be learning languages on the program. So yes, you will be learning the language of your next campus. So if you're going to Turin, for example, in year 2, your language will be Italian. It's part of the curriculum, so everyone does one language. If you let's say you're an Italian native speaker, then you will be able to change it to another language, of course. And be aware that the rule of having a B1 level in French or Spanish for those campuses still apply. So you cannot take French or Spanish from a beginner's level on the program to then have access to those campuses. You have to have that language level before you start on the program.
I see a question that is asked very often is if there's an end date for application. So the last application is, I think it's common for all the campuses, May 20th. But we recommend applying as soon as possible because you will have more chances to get the campuses of your choice.
Interesting question here. Someone is asking, if I'm not accepted in the first round, can I try again in January or later? No, unfortunately, you can only apply once per year. And this is also true for the different platforms. So although we do accept applications coming from the Common App, from UCAS, from Parcoursup, you cannot apply to multiple rounds and also to multiple platforms. Just for fairness for everyone, it's one application per candidate that's accepted, but you can try again in the next year if you want to.
I think we can take a couple of more questions, and then in 3 minutes you will have the following conference about student life, where 2 students will also intervene. So you could ask any questions about accommodation, about student life, meaning the classes, meaning student societies, sports, etc. Let's see. Then if you have questions about your specific diploma, don't hesitate to contact the recruitment or the admissions team of the campus handling your application. I see a question about the Master in Finance. You are right, Beck, is not, students are not automatically allowed to this program. They have to apply like any other student. What we suggest is, of course, being very good, have very good grades during your bachelor, especially in the finance subjects. And also, if you want to apply to this program, it is important to have a plan, a professional plan that is already well established. So we also suggest doing internships in the finance department, so as much work experience in finance as possible. I don't know if Sarah, you see one last questions. Otherwise, we can stop here.
Yeah, maybe one question about doing Madrid in year 3 and want to submit that that Spanish certificate. So if you're interested in doing your last year in Madrid, then you will have a bit more time because you have to prove that Spanish level when you do your choice for year 3, which is on the first year of the bachelor program. So that can be an option, but be aware that I think the level is a bit higher. So I think it's a B2 for Madrid in the 3rd year and not a B1. It's a little bit more demanding.
Okay, well, thank you very much. If we haven't replied to your questions, please write us in the chat, either the program overview booth, which is mine, I will reply to your questions, or the admissions one, where Sarah and her colleague Daniela will reply about admissions. So thank you very much for joining us. I hope we reply to like the majority of your questions, and see you again in our booths. Have a
Bye,
great day.
everyone. Thank you.